Welcome to the deep dive. We're jumping right into a pretty high-stakes diplomatic confrontation. It's all centered on the economic crisis on Tavrik III.
Yeah, we've got a stack of sources here detailing this clash between the Federation's Commodore MacCaffery and, on the other side, the Vethari Master of Commerce, Selatharn.
And the picture these sources paint of the Kaldari people on Tavrik III is, well, it's brutal.
It really is. They're suffering under a total Vethari monopoly. We're talking 18-hour shifts, toxic exposure. Their skin is literally described as ash gray.
So our mission today is to really unpack the tactics here. How do you turn this hot economic crisis into any kind of negotiation at all?
Especially when one side holds all the cards. It's a masterclass in leverage.
Okay, so let's talk about the Vethari system. I mean, it's this marvel of engineered dependency.
Right. The Kaldari signed an exclusivity agreement 20 years ago, and now the Vethari set prices so low that the only variable cost left to cut is
Human suffering.
exactly, the health and well-being of the workers. Desperation is basically baked right into the contract.
And Envoy Tharn, she doesn't even hide this. Her logic is just chillingly cold. She basically says the Vethari haven't broken any laws.
No, they've just maximized market forces. I think that's the direct quote.
It is. She says economics exists outside of morality. It is pure cause and effect. I mean, how do you even begin to argue with that on their terms?
You can't. They see their control as symbiotic, but the threat is always there, right under the surface. They call themselves the circulatory system.
Meaning if they decide to cut off the blood flow, the Kaldari society just dies.
And that's the legal framework they hide behind. It's airtight.
So, if they're so brilliant, so locked down, why did they make such a critical mistake? Why get greedy?
The ship. The silken thread.
Right, an independent Kaldari merchant vessel carrying a perfectly legal cargo of bauxite. And they seize it.
On a completely bogus customs violation, it was just to crush a tiny, tiny competitor.
But that was the crack in the glass MacCaffery was looking for.
Exactly. It allowed the Federation to pivot the entire argument. It's no longer about the morality of their economic system.
Now it's about political stability.
Yes. So the Vetharis are hiding behind market law, and MacCaffery pulls out Article 414, Section C of the Federation Charter.
It's a brilliant move. Creating one legal framework for another, but with much, much higher stakes.
Immense stakes. Article 414 lets the Federation suspend all Vethari transit licenses through their space if their actions are destabilizing a planet.
A threat that would cost the Vethari trillions.
Instantly. And that's when Tharn blinks. She agrees to release the vessel and attend a summit.
At a supposedly neutral site, Island Chain 7, the Lanterns, MacCaffery thinks he's won. But this is where the whole game just shifts, doesn't it?
It flips completely. Lieutenant Khorev, the security chief, does a sweep of the Lanterns.
But he ignores the standard Federation readings. He's looking for something else.
He's not looking for active interference. He's looking for quiet, long-term investments. And he finds a deep-buried Vethari sensor drone.
And it's been there for a while, covered in months of jungle growth, disguised as background radiation.
Right. This wasn't a recent tactical drop. This was planned years ago.
The implication is just terrifying. The site was never neutral.
Never. The Vethari only agreed to the location because they already owned the surveillance grid. It was, for all intents and purposes, a kill box.
They were prepared for this negotiation long before the crisis even started.
So, the real takeaway here isn't just about military force or legal precedent. It's about strategic patience. The Vethari controlled the environment and the information flow years in advance.
So the Federation has to walk into these talks knowing that, as the report says, everything we say in that pavilion has been scripted before we even arrive.
They know every move.
Which leaves a provocative question for you to think about. When your opponent knows your entire playbook, how do you redefine the game without showing your hand?